One of the questions that I've been getting asked a lot recently is what filtration do I use on the main pond. So we're going to get into that right now. So just before we jump into the video, if you are new here, I'm Dave Bradley, this is Decoy TV, and if you're into all things koi related, why not consider hitting that subscribe button, the little red button just below this video, maybe the notification bell, and that'll keep you notified of all future uploads. Anyway, let's get on with it. So the first thing you need to do before you start cleaning my filters is find your sexiest pair of shorts, and then top the look off with your sexiest pair of welly boots. And that is the step number one to the decoy filter clean. Right, so the first filter on the agenda is going to be the Nexus 200. This is just the early Nexus. I never really seen the point in upgrading it, as they're just moulded plastic really. Evolution Aqua released the Nexus 210 after this model, but the easy cage in the centre of the 210 went all the way to the bottom like it does in an Eazypod, and therefore they had that issue where you couldn't get all the waste out of it the same way you can't get it all out of an Eazypod. So it was a bit of a backward step for EA. They went back to putting the easy cage in the middle up on feet so that the waste can actually travel out the bottom. So that's a bit of useless information for you. So standpipe in the centre, pump off, bottom drain shut and airline on. I like to give it a blast out with a hose. You can see why. It'll churn up all the filth out of it. Just quickly though, the Nexus 200 comes standard with a standard K1. But I upgraded this one to the K1 Micro. It was an upgrade that Evolution Aqua said isn't possible, but I've had it in there for a couple of years and it's been working fine. I think the issue is with them saying it isn't possible, I don't think you can put it in the bio side because it would actually get through the guard, through the plate and into your pump. I'll just clip the hose back on here, that's constantly topping the pond up. I have turned the overflow off just before I started this, and then I'll connect up the waste pipe. After it's bubbled away for a bit, open the waste. I like to pull the standpipe out of the centre and let it backwash from the bio side, just in case any dirt's got trapped in there. It can wash back and rinse it away, because I do always fill it and boil it twice. Like each time the Nexus holds 105 litres, so by doing it twice, I'm on my pond's sort of 10,000 litres, so by doing that twice, it sort of gives me a 2% water change for the Nexus alone. I don't pull out the Jap mat every time I do the filters, sort of just once a month I'll get that out and hose it off and give that a good clean down. I mean, just looking at that comes after the easy, so in the centre of the Nexus, so you can imagine if it didn't have that in there, all that would be back in the pond. So it just shows you the amount of stuff that actually gets through those filters. I mean, I run the pump quite high, and that is probably sort of the reason why I pull that much crap through them, but I like a high turnover because I like to get as much water over the shower as often as possible. the Nexus done, let it fill back up and get the pump back on. Switch the air over. So next one's the Eazypod, the Eazypod UV. So turn the pump off, turn the UV off, standpipe in again, and then I'll pull up the pressure disc so that it can boil. Close the bottom drain, flick the air on. Before anyone starts with the messages telling me that my Eazypod is too high and it's not at the right level, you have to bear in mind I've dropped about 250 litres of pond water. So, and if you do actually read the instructions of these, it tells you that it doesn't have to boil over the overflows. It's just a common misconception, to be honest. As I haven't bothered my arse getting around to sorting out the ball valve, I've still got this gate valve on here. And the reason I don't like it is because it's very constricting. It's very narrow, and I don't think the water can flush out as, well, it certainly doesn't flush out as fast as my other one in the grow on in the garage. It takes a lot longer to drain. I think if it can drain off faster, it will pull a lot more of the crap out a lot quicker. As with the Nexus, I give that a hose out now. Shut the drain off. Well, shut the waste off and let it fill back up. And go again for round 2. I think these hold around 80 litres. So I'll do this one twice and a little flush. A little purge of the bottom drain as well from this one. So I'd say I'm doing about 450 litres between the two filters. Obviously I've got my little floating skimmer. I need to jump up and sort that out as well a couple of times a week. And when you're putting it back in the water, the only way to get them to work is to make sure all the air is out of it. The main reason I have that little skimmer is mainly just for foam. I use it to keep the foam off the surface of the pond. In hindsight, should I put an in-wall skimmer in? Yeah, I probably should, but as I said, I built this pond on a whim. Just a last minute decision. I thought, yeah, I'll throw one in. It was never meant to be, you know, this is probably my 7th or 8th pond I've ever had, so it was never going to be a forever pond. Put these little extra bits of foam in the outer ring. Tends to create more draw on it. And it works fine for me. Bloody quarter lines nearly put my eye out. What about them alley boots and shorts though? Sorted. Right, that's it. It's been drained and hosed off twice now. So So pop the disc back down. And get her fill back up. UV back on. Standpipe out. This is actually returned to the pond via a 10,000 variable flow pump, which you never run at 100%. It goes back through a 3 kilowatt heater and it returns through a mid-level return in the wall of the pond. And flick the air back on in the Nexus. Now the pond's currently topping up through the 3-pod dechlorinator, and that's the overflow that's actually in the Nexus, so that'll keep going. And as soon as it starts the overflow, if I leave that for an hour, that'll do an exact 10% water change in the pond. So that's the filters all cleaned, doesn't take too long at all. So I'll just give you a quick rundown on what it is. It's a 4-inch bottom drain that feeds into the Nexus 200 series. That then returns to the pond via that 2-tier 1 metre shower that's full of mountain tree Lotus root media. That's actually returned via a 15,000 litre per hour pump, which is massive overkill for a Nexus, and it's probably a bit high. I think the recommended running rate for those is a maximum of 10,000 litres an hour. But as I say, I like to turn the volume of my pond over quite a lot. With the head height there, it's probably getting 12,000 litres, and that is probably why a bit of the fines do get drawn through that filter into the Jap matting. So it doesn't suit everyone, but I like to put as much water over the shower as I possibly can, because I believe that that is the best form of beneficial bacteria for my pond. So the bottom drain is split by a T and reduced into a 3-inch pipe, which then goes into the Eazypod. That returns to the pond via a 10,000 litre per hour variflow pump, which will run around 70%. Goes through a 3 kilowatt heater and is returned through a in-wall return, which gives me adjustable flow on the current around the pond as and when I need it. Obviously I got the little corner skimmer over there, which can gather up plenty of food out of the auto feeder, and then the big buggers in that pond behind me like to turn it over. So yep, I've answered the question, and I suppose you're all thinking, why didn't you just answer it at the start instead of taking us around a full filter maintenance? But I thought you'd like to see what I have to do twice a week. And that being said, I filmed all that footage in the middle of the week, and it's now the weekend, so it's time to do the whole thing again. So where's those welly boots? I am releasing weekly content on all things koi related, and if that does interest you, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out in the future. Why not stick around and check out one of the videos that'll pop up on the end screen. But anyway, brings us to the end of this little video. So as always, look after yourselves. More importantly, look after those fish.